Good afternoon. We're going to be doing a presentation on predicting what matters using big data. So my name is Bryn Dunn.
I'm Luke Garland.
And we are both digital healthcare apprentices at Prize Court Foundation in partnership with the University of Warwick. Okay, so a little bit about our apprenticeship. So our apprenticeship at Prize Court is designed to include a combination of work placements across the organisation, such as education, residential and therapy teams, in order to gain experience and develop a broad understanding of operational processes undertaken to meet the needs of young people in our care. The majority of our time we spent with the team working on the Prior Insight platform with a primary focus on data mining in order to discover what can make the difference between a good day and a young person going to crisis. We are gaining this experience alongside our degree at the University of Warwick, where we are provided with a breadth of scientific training oriented around the fusion of sciences. This involves developing high-level consultation skills, using holistic, evidence and values-based approaches to shared decision-making, psychology, behavioural science and clinical physiology, all in conjunction to learning how digital technologies play an ever-increasing role in supporting health and well-being. So Prize Court. Prize Court is a registered charity founded in 1999 by Dame Stephanie Shirley that provides education and residential care for young people with complex autism aged 25 to 25, helping them to live happier lives and build more independent futures. The complex nature of the young people at Prize Court requires information to be collected on every aspect of their lives, enabling us to track the progress they make and informing us about how we can help them to achieve even greater outcomes, having more good days in the process. In common with residential and special needs schools across the UK, Prize Court historically relied on a number of paper-based data collection systems that made reporting and analysis difficult. It was therefore necessary to develop a digital solution that was able to record data across the whole organisation. This system is called Prior Insight. Now, we are able to see inputs in real time and create reports in hours, which previously could have taken months to collate, analyse and interpret. This is completed using a software package accessed by tablets, which are assigned to each student, optimized to provide quick inputs and comprehensive data, day and night. This enables us to use the data to inform evidence-based practice, allowing the young people to have more consistency, happy days and better outcomes.
So how has Prior Insight been utilised so far? One of Prior Insight's first successes was with Otto. Otto is 14 years old and he has autism, severe learning disabilities, in conjunction with other coexisting conditions, such as neurological problems, including issues with motor control, cognitive functioning, severe epilepsy. In particular, severe epilepsy, which can be extremely difficult to manage, as he can have up to 20 seizures each day. So, like many of the other young people, Otto's complex needs means he requires individualized specialist care and support. By using information recorded on Prior Insight, staff quickly identified a trend that Otto's behavioural incidents spiked in the lead up to having absent seizures. Now, absent seizures are quite tricky to spot, as they only last a couple of seconds and can often look like daydreaming or staring off into space. So they often go unnoticed. Now, with Prior Insight, staff are alerted when his behavioural incidents increase, so they can be extra vigilant for seizure activity. The result means they're able to provide even better care, more informed care on a daily basis, so we can have more good days and lead a happier life.
Okay, so how can data be analysed around incidents to show trends individualised to each student and thus prevent future incidents? As previously discussed, the young people at Prize Court have complex and individual needs, and many are not able to express themselves or convey their thoughts or alert us to their anxieties or needs. So when we look at a young person such as Lara, we saw somebody love swimming. However, one day, seemingly out of the blue, she started to refuse to go swimming. Her anxiety peaked around the time she would normally go to the pool, and incidents would follow. The question was, what caused this behavioural change? This happened before the implementation of Prior Insight, and with the paper reporting, staff were unable to identify what or why this had occurred. The result was 2 years of anxiety and anguish surrounding what used to be her favourite activity. The hope is that with a digitalised system, more data and data of greater quality can be collected, meaning cases such as this will be easier to understand and combat early on, or even avoided completely.
So with this new system, we can have significant insights and profound views into non-verbal communication in order to improve quality of life. So what else are we able to look into? Well, we're still at the beginning of our journey. Prize Court and Prior Insight is still in its infancy, but we are already beginning to look into how we can help young people on an individualized basis. For example, people on the autism spectrum often have specific dietary requirements, and intolerances and allergies are more prevalent in this demographic, up to 4 times that of a non-autistic individual. In conjunction with growing understandings of intricacies of gut microbiomes and with an increased knowledge and anxiety surrounding food in certain individuals, we're hoping to develop a greater understanding of how we can improve well-being, not only around meal times, but throughout the day, simply by looking at nutrition. Therefore, with one of our first case studies here, we decided to investigate a case where a young person had been identified to be displaying increased incidence in recent months. We looked into the nutrition being provided by the staff to this individual, considering his diagnosis with gluten and lactose intolerance, and we looked into whether this correlated with the recent increase in incidence. And as you can see by looking at the line graph here, the trends for gluten, lactose, and incidence all rise and fall together. Where there is one anomaly, February 2021. However, this can be explained by a number of transitions by the individual between home and prize court. So we've utilized this insight into improving nutritional awareness across the site, and we are refining how dietary requirements are being input into the system. And going forwards, more complex nutritional information will be available, and deeper insight into how this may influence behaviours will be possible across the site.
Supporting values and evidence-based practice. So Prize Court is made up of nearly 700 employees, each holding different ideals regarding what health and well-being means and how this is upheld. As with many large organisations, maintaining high standards of practice throughout is a challenging object, and consequently, the values and approaches of the individual staff members can lead to difficulty in maintaining the necessary continuity and structure in the lives of young people, which must be sustained to reduce their anxieties. With the young people requiring round-the-clock care, many different members of staff will work with each young person. When a staff member works with a young person they're not familiar with, prior insight provides them a holistic summary of the young person's needs and recent behavioural patterns on a page titled "This Is Me." By providing up-to-date and informed data regarding individual needs directly to the tablets that remain with carers at all times, prior insight brings out the best of values and evidence-based practice and allows for higher levels of consistency and stability in young people's lives.
So finally, reducing subjectivity in decision making. With previous paper recording, there were a lot of missing data points, and therefore some informed decisions were being made predominantly subjectively without the use of any data. So while these decisions were often made in the best interests of young people, there can be many instances where in reality, the reality might not necessarily align with the opinions of staff. So this can potentially have an impact not only on the day-to-day life of the young person, but also on their future and how their cases are handled by individual stakeholders and external stakeholders, such as NHS doctors and local authorities, and it can even impact where individuals might be placed once their time at prize court comes to an end. Therefore, with the development of the system, Prior Insight, we hope that it can be used to support more informed decisions to guide a better life and foundation for adulthood and independent living in the future. And in addition to positively impacting life each and every day while they're here at prize court. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. That's all from us.